back. If you're just joining us, this is Breakfast Daily. And right now we are actually about to have a conversation, a very interesting one. And it's about autism. We are going to be exploring the world of autism, a journey of compassion, hope, and understanding. And today we're going to be delving and looking at this topic from the perspective of a doctor, a dedicated doctor, and a loving parent. And also, what someone special is doing to help kids with autism be recognized. Is Afi Antonio, founder of the Afi Antonio Foundation. She is also a media personality. Emric Bangu Ubiyini, and a child living with autism, and his father, Stephen Bangu Ubiyini, father of Emric, obviously, and Dr. Irajwa Ahima Nuno. She's been here before, senior medical officer in charge at the Douala Medical Center at Burma Camp. You are welcome.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen. All right, so Doc, I'm going to be starting with you. Can you explain what autism spectrum disorder is all about?
Okay, so good morning to everyone out there that's listening to us this morning. Well, autism spectrum disorder, it's a group of conditions in which there's a problem with the development of the brain. So it's a neurodevelopmental disorder. Usually occurs in 1 in 100 children. But the prevalence in Ghana is currently 38.7%. So children living with autism at the moment, under the age of 14 years, is about almost 39%. So that's quite significant in this part of the world. Basically, this is a spectrum. So you can either be at the extreme end of it or the lowest part or in between, where your symptoms are not so severe and they're not so low as well. What this disorder does is that it causes problems with your social and communication skills, interactions with people. It affects your movements, how you speak. So they have deficiencies in those areas. So it's motor, speech problems, problems with eye contact because of their social interaction skills that are a bit limited and poor. So they tend not to look at you in the eye when they're interacting with you, or they tend to isolate themselves a lot from people. They also tend to have repetitive movements. So a child can be there and then just flapping the hand or just clapping, or maybe doing this or making some sounds. So every child or each child is unique and different in their own ways. You don't have, we can have certain similarities, but every autistic child is different, some of them are quite creative. They can paint, they can draw, they can play music, they can play the piano, they can sing and all that. So don't just think that because they have problems with their brains, they're not so intelligent, or they are mentally retarded, so you just push them aside. Let's incorporate them into our societies and love them. Once you love them, they come out and they shine appropriately.
Okay, so you actually talked about it being a spectrum, so it can be from a lower end to the higher end. So I was watching an interview of an adult actor, and this actor is, he was in Prison Break, the main actor in Prison Break, if you've seen the movie before. He was actually diagnosed at a later age as an adult. How is that possible?
Very, very possible, because he's at the lower spectrum of it. So usually, those who are in the middle and the end, we pick it up quite early from their childhood, from age 2 to 3 years. Because the child will not be walking, will not be talking the way he or she should, and all that, is not able to speak and communicate with you effectively. So you can pick that up. But with those who have the mild end of the spectrum, we usually tend to pick theirs a bit later on when they grow up, the adult stage, usually what we call Asperger's syndrome. Simply because you see that they are failing in their relationships, or they are not being so social. They can't communicate to you effectively. So that's when we are like, okay, we think there's something wrong, go for an assessment, and we find out that indeed you have autism.
So how do you approach the diagnosis and treatment of autism?
Okay, so the diagnosis starts from when the mother or the father notices that the child is not behaving like a regular or normal child in quotes. So let's say either you have regressed milestones. Let's say you're able to walk or crawl. Now your baby stops doing all those things. The child cannot feed himself. The child cannot bathe himself. He cannot communicate with you. He cannot say mama, dada, those simple things. By age 2 to 3, you know that something is wrong. So as the parent, you should take the child to the nearby hospital
Right.
and see a general practitioner or a pediatrician
Right.
who will do an assessment of the child. And then based on that, when we get more history from you, autism has no cause,
Right.
but there are associated risk factors. For instance, was the child a preterm baby? Was the mother old before she had the baby? So old maternal age.
Right.
Is there any family history of autism or any other genetic conditions in the family? So we'll probe further and find out all those things.
Right.
So that's where the diagnosis starts from. From you, the parents noticing these symptoms, coming to us for help, we assessing you, and then based on what your symptoms are, it's a whole group of, it's a whole team that are attending to you. So you have psychologists on board,
Right.
you have physiotherapists on board, occupational therapists, dietitian, speech and language therapists, all these will come together, even dietitian, to help manage the child.
Right.
Sometimes we put on some medication, sometimes we just the therapy that we will do, sometimes speech and language therapy to help you talk. So not just one person's attending, it's a whole team.
Right.
And you need to become to also quite frequently.
Right.
Yes. So
Right.
if you are working, in terms of that affects the parents a lot because they have to take time off work to be taking the child for these necessary follow-ups and checkups.
Right. All right. All right. So, Mr. Stephen, I can see that you are trying to calm Emric down because he wants to play with the phone. Obviously, he wants to stand up at the same time. He wants to do everything at the same
He
time.
said he wants to go and play the drum.
Oh, he wants to play the drum in the studio. Oh, Emric, you're going to play that later, okay? All right. So, can you share with us the journey of being a parent with a child with autism?
You know, from the beginning, it's always difficult to accept that. You have because it's the journey of no return. When you start, when your child is being diagnosed with autism, people say it has cure, but I've not seen anyone that is being cured of autism. It is really a journey with mixed feeling,
Right.
joy, and sadness at the same
Sometimes,
time, because the child can make you happy at times, especially like Emric, for instance. There are things he will do that will make you laugh, and there are times he will really, you think the world is crumbling.
Yeah.
Because he won't understand what you will tell him. Sometimes he wake up in the morning and tell you that, let's go to the swimming pool.
Oh.
And you are not ready for it. But you have no choice.
Right.
And if immediately you tell him no, he's not even waiting for no
You
for an
trigger him.
answer. So the journey is really difficult. It's not easy.
Right. So what are the first signs and behaviors that you actually noticed from him and then you decided to say, okay, I think we need to go to the hospital?
Emric didn't crawl. He started walking at the age of 2. And then the speech, he couldn't point. So, in fact, we initially didn't want to accept that it was autism. But as time goes on, we just realized that we have to face it as it is. Because that is when you have solutions for your problem. So when we realize that it's the time we have to just go ahead with it before we just went to the hospital.
All right. So what kind of support do you actually get from your friends and family?
You know, sometimes, with this, with our situation,
Right.
Normally it's rare to see a single father handling some of the things. It's always the mother who, the men will leave the children with the woman and then try to find their way. But I decided just to face it.
Oh, okay.
Because you not get anyone to take care of him well like you.
Yes.
So you just have to accept it, regardless of, whether someone is supporting you or not. With the support from friends and family, I think Currently, no.
Is he the only child?
There are two.
There are two.
The sister, she is okay.
Right. And she's the first?
No, Emmerich is the first.
So what's the relationship between him and his sister? How does he feel? Does he realize, oh, that's my sister?
No, he knows. Emmerich, who is your sister?
Elsie.
Oh,
She knows his sister's name.
That's good.
Yeah.
Right. That's good. That's good. That's good. Anyway, Afi, yeah, you always bring us here, you know, in this situation every year. Last year, you were here, you know, and we also had this sort of discussion.
Yeah.
But Afi, I want to know, what is it about autistic kids, right, that, you know, makes you really want to help them, you know, especially with your program that you do for them, the Miss and Mr. Autism. Yeah.
Okay, so when I started this whole thing, my major concern was the fact that parents were finding it difficult to go out with their wards because of the stigma surrounding them. People make fun of them, you know, and all that. So that is where I decided, like, what can I do to help curb that situation? Yes, and I also realized that they really enjoy when we have the events. They are happy, you know, and I'm like, why not? If the event is once a year and that day will be the day that they will really be happy in the whole year, why not, you know? So I just love the fact that I'm able to make them happy.
Right.
When I see them happy, I'm also happy.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for a couple of years now.
Yes,
How do you
4 years.
4 years. So how do you think it has impacted or changed the perspectives of, you know, the view of people, you know, towards kids with autism?
I think it's slow. The process is slow, but I'm sure that with time we'll get there. We still have people who still have the belief that they are river children, you know, their parents are cares, they probably did something and God punished them with such children.
Right.
But that is really not the case. Anyone can have a child living on the spectrum.
Right.
So the process is slow, but I'm sure with time we'll get there.
So what sort of talents have you discovered in this 4 years when it comes to these kids?
Oh, a lot of amazing talent. Some are able to bead,
Right.
slippers.
Yes.
The last time the girl was
the
here
girl.
last year, yes. Emmerich can recite the alphabet in 15 different languages. He
Whoa.
can also read. I have the twins who can draw.
Right.
And those who can paint on canvas, like amazing talent, you know, yeah, amazing talent.
Wow. And you know, funny enough, if it's not you, I wouldn't know all this is possible. Honestly. I wouldn't even know, like, okay, they are actually very talented, but it's just that people do not realize how talented they are because everyone is trying to look down at them, you understand?
Yeah, exactly.
But Emmerich, the alphabets, are you ready? Are you ready to show us your talent? Show me.
It's time to talk now, Emmerich.
Emmerich, it's your time. What language is this?
Turkish.
Turkish, okay. Now read.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, R, S, T, S, D, U, V, Y, Z.
Okay.
Wow. And that's Turkish.
Yes.
ABC in Turkish.
What language is this? What language is this? Look at this.
Alpha, Vita, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Zeta, Theta, Theta, Iota, Kappa, Lambda, V, Nixon, Omega, Pi, Remo, Sigma, Tau, Epsilon, Phi, Pi, Xi, Omega.
What language?
Greek.
Greek. Wow. Okay.
And then with this one. This
Emmerich, the last one, okay?
Emmerich, another one.
Emmerich, this
Last one.
Yes.
this
The
one.
last one.
What language?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Q R S T U V X Epsilon Z U V Z.
What language is it?
German.
German. Yay!
Well done, Henry.
Wow. So wait, how did he learn all these languages?
Personally, I really don't know because he's always on his phone.
Right.
And the languages are so many that sometimes I ask myself, are you not confusing yourself with all these plenty languages? But he's able to identify them even without the name of the language. So immediately you open it, you can tell you that this is the
Turkish, there is
yes.
Wow.
So many.
At what point did you realize, or at what age did you realize that he has this talent?
The talents are many.
The talents are many.
tell
This
you.
is just small one we are
many.
seeing.
Yes, there are many.
Wow.
Emric is very good.
Right. So apart from this, what other talents does he have?
Emric can read very well, and he is very good in maths.
With
Numbers.
Yeah.
He has a very sharp memory. He hardly forgets.
Right.
Yeah.
And he has a good accent.
Yes,
It's very good accent.
very good.
Yeah.
And he uses my laptop.
Oh.
Yeah, he uses it to do some small designs.
Some small designs. Right. So would you say, because I can see him on the tablet a lot, would you say that the animations and the cartoons and the kids content that he watch actually helps him?
Yes, because initially he couldn't even say any word.
Really?
Yes. He couldn't even say any word. Even how to pronounce even water was a problem. But because of what he watches, he picked things up. Sometimes he become worried because always on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, connect my. And you heard him saying, we'll tell you to, hotspot.
Hotspot.
If it's not on, he will come back. He knows how to connect it. He will just pick it up and then connect it
Himself.
on his own.
Right.
So I became worried, but I realized that is where he learned. There are things that this boy knows that I don't even know how.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, if you're watching us and you're out there and you want to help Emric and contribute to his data, because obviously we can see that he's very, very talented, and obviously he spends a lot of time on his tablet and on his phone, so he needs data. So please, if you want to help Emric, send us some data, okay? I'm not joking. Maybe after the show you have to call us or something. We'll give it out to him. Seriously, this is us helping Emric. Anyway, Afi, tell us about the Mr. and Miss Autism 2024.
Okay, so this year is the Battle of the Champions. So
Okay.
I brought together all the winners from the previous years.
Ah.
So they'll be battling it out this year. And that came about because it was becoming difficult for parents to want to bring their children to partake in the event. So I spoke to one woman. She was willing to allow the word to come, but she said the husband would have to also agree first. Then she came back, Afi, Daddy says no, so we can't allow our child to be part. And then I spoke to some of the centers, some will be like, okay, we'll get back to you, we'll talk to management, and you won't hear from them again. So it became very frustrating. I was like, okay, so should I cancel the event this year, or what should I do? And some of the centers will be like, what is in it for the center? Where I think that they should rather understand what I'm doing and should be helping. So I was being frustrated when it comes to the centers, being frustrated when it comes to sponsorship, because sponsorship is a difficult thing altogether, like a difficult a different topic for another day. So I was like, okay, what can I do? I still want to do this year. Maybe let me do this year and just end it this year. I will not do any event on autism as in Mr. and Miss Autism, but then I'll find something else to do to still create the awareness, but it might not be an event. So then the idea came that I should bring all the winners together so that they battle it out this year, and it will be the end of Mr. and Miss Autism this year.
We hope it's not going to be the end, though. Anyway, Doc, tell us, how can people out there support parents with autism?
I just wish people would understand what autism is, you know. Take some time to get some education on it. Listen to our programs. Don't be in a haste to judge somebody or shun or stigmatize against someone just because he or she has autism, okay? Let's embrace them in our society and our communities. Let's be gentle towards them. With the teachers, when they go to school, let's not punish them or yell at them because think they are stubborn or they're not understanding what you're teaching them. Maybe we should be a bit gentle towards them. To our government as well, let them assist us in making more centers for them. For children who have special needs, public ones, because the private ones are quite expensive. It's not every parent that can afford to take their children to such schools, okay? So let's at least make some policies and assist them somehow. Then, help these people become great people someday.
Yeah, definitely. We can see they have a lot of talent.
Yes,
all right, so Mr. Stephen, what advice would you give to parents out there with, that have children with autism?
What I would like to tell them is just to accept, because that's sometimes very difficult. I know parents who have children living with autism, and yet they don't even want to accept that their children has autism. So I would encourage them just to embrace it, so that at least they can find solutions and then give their children the better assistance or education. Because children with autism are very useful, very, very useful.
Right. Thank you so much. But Afi, before I let you all go, so it's, the event's happening tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 3 Music TV premises from 12
Abilinkpe?
p.m. Yes, Abilinkpe. From 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Yes.
Right. So 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Mr. and Miss Autism 2024. I mean, this has been a very great conversation, and thank you. Thank you for coming. Emmerich.
Thank you for having us.
Emmerich.
Emmerich, Auntie is calling you.
Wow, Emmerich is busy. He's busy. By the time we realize he has learned another language.
I know, right?
All right, so I've really had a good time speaking to these wonderful individuals about this issue, autism. And if you're out there and you're a parent with autism, please, there's no shame in it. I think the more you hide it, that's when the shame creeps in. Try to live a normal life. I know it's not easy. We've heard it from Mr. Stephen. It's not easy, but it's your child. Try to accept that child, and that child could be something great, can actually be something or someone great in future. I mean, we've seen Emmerich, and he's never gone to any language school, but he can say A, B, C, D in so many languages. I can't even imagine it, you know? And I'm actually very shocked. And like I said, if you're out there and you want to support Emmerich, please send us data. Call us later, and then and in fact, give out a number if someone out there is watching and wants to send data. Is it possible?
Okay, so you can reach me on 0246 827 858 0246 827 858. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so we've been talking to Afi Antonio, the founder of Afi Antonio Foundation, and she's also a media personality. And Emmerich Bangu will be the child living, I don't want to call him child living with autism, special kid that can speak so many languages without going to, any language school. That's the kid. And yes, and his father, Stephen Bangu, will be him, and also Dr. Ewura Ejwa Ahima Nuno. She's not a visitor here. She's like our sis here. Senior Medical Officer in charge, Douala Medical Center at the Premier Camp. I mean,